In this video, I would like to share my STARSEED story. So from the start, how I discovered that I have a connection with the stars and the star people, it was in 2014, I believe in the summer, and I was doing a lot of meditation during that time. And that was also when I started really deeply resonating with the twin flame theory. And I remember I went into this deep meditation. I do not remember that meditation, but it was a very deep meditation. When I got out of it, my guides or my intuition told me to look online. Basically look online for alien races, alien civilizations. And I found this list. My guides guided me to this list of all of these, it was pretty long, of all of these known alien races or civilizations. And my guides literally had me close my eyes, sort of just feel out all the names. There was so many names of alien civilizations. And then my guides just told me to pick the first one, just pick the first one that really catches your eye. So what I did, I was just like, okay. There was like maybe 15 names or something like that, or maybe less, maybe like 10. And I just was like, that name. And it was Arcturius. And after that, my guides was like, okay, now you have a name. Now look, go explore, look up everything you can find on the Arcturians. And of course I did, and I found all of this information on the Arcturians. And I just remember for 2 weeks, I was just deeply into the study of the Arcturian civilization. And basically, what I now know for myself, the Arcturians, they have a more subtle approach to helping me to learn. They like to teach me things. Well, for example, the Pleiadians, they're more about nurturing me, and they have a loving, nurturing energy, very artistic energy, very playful energy. While the Arcturians their energy is a little maybe more serious. They're very wise and very much sort of, I would say, straightforward and to the point, like, this is what we're here to do, very structured. And they have when they communicate to me in a subtle way, they very much help me to stay grounded and disciplined. They're very much about discipline. While the Pleiadians are more about free spirit, and I'm very much a free spirit myself, but the Arcturians, they communicate me subtly, and they, for example, I think this was 2 months ago, I had a very intense Arcturian experience. It was so intense that my body was just like shaking. I was taking a nap, and I was in this deep nap because I just donated blood that day. So I was just completely drained. So I, of course, took a nap. And that sleep, I was in some altered state of consciousness where I was consciously aware of my surroundings at the same time being asleep, and I wasn't really anywhere. It was almost like I was hovering above myself in my room, because I didn't go into any dream state or any lucid dream. I was just like hovering over my body. It was like I was present, but I was like, there was another me, like I was like outside of my body sort of experience, but I didn't even go anywhere. I was just hanging around in my room, and there was all these Arcturian beings literally just walking around my house. And it was so intense that, I woke up, and I think the Arcturians knew that I was really overwhelmed by the intensity, because the Arcturians beings they're very high vibrational beings. So that's why they come in very subtle. They come in to my life here and there because they don't want to bombard me with information, because that information can be, it can really, like I said, very overwhelming. So basically, with the Arcturians, and why I resonate with Arcturians and why they connect with me in a subtle manner, that's, they come in here and there to help me to help me expand my knowledge, my wisdom, is because my karma to this planet is I am here to be of service. There are particular individuals in this world that I have karma with, but not in the sense of the old paradigm in which we've had karma with each other, of resolving things such as, you know, unforgiveness or anything of that sort of nature. This karma that I have it's a higher paradigm of karma. It's outside of the karmic wheel that many people are in, you know, just obliviously doing things to each other, and it's like a lack of awareness. That karmic wheel was more of a lack of awareness. It's more of like stumbling around, just doing whatever you please, not really aware. But we, you know, we took part in that as a collective, you know, for, you know, some time, and, you know, there's a purpose for all of that. But for myself, and that's why the Arcturians are communicating with me, because they're all about, specifically, they resonate with teaching. They're very much about straightforward teaching. This is, you know, they tell you about the world and about the universe, the cosmos, and they're very much about symbols. Very much about symbols. A lot of times it's kind of interesting because there's like a collaboration going on with me, and that is about the Arcturians and the Pleiadians. They somehow come together, and they kind of, I don't know, they're like collaborating together with me, because I get a lot of Arcturians information, but it's sort of, it's a mixed in with the Pleiadians energy. It's like they're mixing in together, because I get a lot of symbols that are very Arcturian, but they also have a light-hearted, soft, heartfelt vibration that the Pleiadians embody, very light colors. When I think of Pleiadians, I think of light colors, like very like baby blues, light colors. Very much like Pleiadians are like children to me. They just have so much light energy to them, like light colors, like pinks. Well, Arcturians have more dark colors, like dark, intense blues, dark purples. I see a lot of dark purples and, you know, like colors of blacks when it comes to Arcturians, because they very much have this deep, sort of intense vibe. It's more of like, while the Pleiades, they're more like a higher pitch, like, you know, sort of like that, you know. So that's why their colors very much reflect their frequency. The like you know, like very light colors. It's like you're in the meadows, and it's like there's such light, you know, blues and pinks and all that jazz. While the Arcturians, really, their vibration, it reflects that. So with the Arcturians and the downloads I receive, like, for example, there's something I want to say right now to you guys. It's a message that involves myself and the Arcturians, but I cannot say it, because with downloads from the Arcturians, it takes much longer to integrate and to kind of conceptualize and vocalize than, let's say, the Pleiadians' messages, because the Pleiadians are like 5D, while the Arcturians are more like 7, 10D. So the higher the dimensional message, the longer it takes to fully, it's like you're molding it over in your head, trying to conceptualize it, and it's a process. Like, for example, if I were to speak right now the channeled message that I can feel it's mulling over in my head, I would stutter. I would just be, I would probably take this video, would be like 10 tries, and I still wouldn't say what I want to say, because it takes literally a long process of days or sometimes weeks to really mull that over. But once you mull it over in your conscious brain or your subconscious, and it really, you start conceptualizing it in a way, you can really translate it in a way that makes sense, that with human language, in a way that 3D language. Then that's usually one day I wake up and I'm like, okay, I gotta make a video. And then it just comes out like flows. It comes out. It's like a process. It needs to filter through all the layers. Like 10D, 7D Arcturian information, it needs to filter through the 6D, then the 5D, then the 4D, then the 3D. And once it filters through all those layers, like literally it's conceptualizing in each of those layers. Like the 5D is conceptualizing, it's molding over in that layer, and then it moves down to the 4D, and then it's conceptualizing that layer, and it begins to become more clear, more distinct in terms of 3D sort of verbalizing for people to understand, so it doesn't just go over their head, you know? Because there's no point, and the Arcturians know this, there's no point of putting out information that will just go over everybody's head. Because the whole point of that information is to integrate it into this 3D reality so we can build upon it. But if it goes over everybody's head and doesn't even make sense, then it's going to be very hard for people to really integrate that into their life, because they can't even conceptualize it. Because it's just like, whoa, what is that? So it's really important that I allow myself, when it comes to Arcturian information, to allow myself to really mold it over in my head before I just go off and just speak it. Because I've tried that before, where I'm like, I gotta get this out. This is an amazing message that the Arcturians have communicated to me. But then I sit there and I make 10 videos, literally just stopping the videos and like after 3 minutes, because that's not what I want to say, and then I record it again, and like that's not still what I want to say, and then I record it again, and then literally it's like 40 minutes, and I still don't even have a product to put out, because I need to let it soak in. It's like you're letting it soak in. You have to like literally let it soak in, so you can really allow it to go through the process of the layers, the different dimensions, so it can eventually come to the 3D dimension where you can really conceptualize it more in a 3D way and put it out in a way that people can understand. Well, the Pleiadians, they have more of I notice the Pleiadians, they give me a lot of metaphors. They're they're more embodiment of the 5D. They're more, I feel, the Arcturians, whenever they come to me, they're more of like physical sort of beings. Like they represent sort of, I can see them, like they're sort of their physical appearance, they come to me, while the Pleiadians have more of a frequency of an energy, like a sort of like a voice you hear but you can't necessarily see. While the Arcturians, when they want to make themselves known, sometimes I can literally feel and see their presence around me, and it is intense having, especially multiple beings around you. It's very intense. The Pleiades, it's more of, I don't really see their physical representation of their energy, more so just hearing their, just like feeling their energy. And with the Pleiadians information, it's easy for me to for me to download quickly, much faster, because they provide me with a lot of metaphors, like earthly metaphors, that in which I can understand, in which I know people will understand. Because they basically, the Pleiadians, they translate the information for me, while the Arcturians, they don't translate it for me. So I have to literally sit there and find a translation so I can put it out to you guys. While the Pleiadians, they provide that for me. Like, for example, Arcturians, they give me symbols, and I literally have to look at these symbols and translate it in a way that I know what the symbol means. I know what the message is, but I can't just show you guys a picture of a symbol and be like, this is, you see the message, because a lot of people, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't look at a symbol and be like, oh yeah, I totally understand the message. So I have to literally look at it and then translate it and then, communicate it. So Arcturians is more of a process, while Pleiadians is like, they basically provide me things sort of on a platter, like a silver platter, and all I really do is have to be tapped into that consciousness, that platter, that frequency. And it's easy for me to do that. For example, what really inspired me to make this video was this image I was drawing of the Arcturians, because they're starting to, like I said, they come and go, because they really want me to see. Again, there's a message I really want to tell you, but I can't, because I can't even conceptualize it in my mind, or my conscious mind, because it's still, this information I want to speak to you it's more of up in the 60, and I can feel it on an energetic level, but I cannot speak it in a 3D manner, like communication. I could probably project it energetically without communicating, but this video I'm trying to communicate, so But what really inspired me to create this video is this image Arcturians had me draw. At first, I didn't know where this was going, and a lot of my drawings, these star people really tell me to just draw, because a lot of times I wonder, am I doing it right? And then sometimes I scratch it, or like I throw that away and then I start again. But then I realized that I need to just keep drawing, because even though I don't know where this is going, they reassure me that even though it may not make sense about what I'm drawing, it may just be like lines or scribbles or something like that, but each thing they're having me do is it's important. They're having me do that for a reason. I may not understand that, but when I finish the drawing, it's like I can see the bigger picture and I understand, oh, okay, that's why they had me draw that, because I didn't really understand where that was going. That was sort of like a weird sort of line and triangle thing that was going on. I didn't know if that was right. So it's really about, with intuition, with communication with the star people, is really just, you have to sort of just run with it, because it won't make really sense through your 3D logical brain. It would really only make sense when you really allow yourself to just sort of run with it, and not trying to pick at it and see if it's right, because it probably won't make sense when you're conceptualizing through this 3D brain, but it will make sense when you really meditate upon it and you're like, oh wow, you know, this actually, I understand where this was going. When I was doing it, I had no clue where this was going. When I was drawing this image, I had no clue where this was going. I thought this is going to look like one of those Mexican tradition skulls, you know, the Mexican, the Day of the Dead, you know, the skulls. That I was like, is this what it's supposed to look like? And then I was like, is this wrong? And they just said, keep going, you know, and keep going, you know. It's really, with information, you have to really just allow it to soak in, because a lot of times we want to know the answer like right away. For this image, I wanted to know right away where this was going, but I didn't, because with the communication, you have to allow it to soak in. You can't just, you're not going to just grasp it like instantly of what's going on, or where this image is going when I was drawing it, or the information, because it can stress you out. And also, it can also block the information as well. So this is what really inspired me to make this video. And also, when it comes to Arcturians, when they want me to make a video, again, they're very subtle. Their energy is so subtle, sometimes I don't even know it's them. Sometimes I just think it's my guides, like like the Ascended Masters, but they're so subtle. They're like in the background. They're like in the background, and they don't really make themselves known, but they make themselves known every here and there, because they don't want to, like, again, bombard me with their presence. So they're more in the background, because their energy is so intense, because like I said, they're like 710D, so they know if they were to just hang around me all the time, the intensity of their vibration and the messages, it probably might cause some headaches, you know, some headaches on my physical body, because the intensity of it, because I'm such a dense reality, you know, physical body is in this plane is really dense, and their high vibration, it would cause a little bit of, I guess, I don't want to say the word friction, but it sort of is a little bit of friction going on, because it's like two magnets that are sort of pulling away from each other, and that sort of tension, when two magnets are pulling away, it creates this like, you know, they kind of shake. It creates this shaky, uneasy tension, sort of friction energy. So with this image, I guess I'm going to continue to share it with you. Basically, I drew this, and afterward I was like, oh, this makes total sense. This is the ships. This is really the Arcturians ships. And it's also another being ships. A lot of the races, I draw pictures of alien civilizations or alien beings, but I have no idea what the name of it. I have no idea. But I know this belongs to Arcturians in another race, and I remember this thing going up is like a DNA strand. They're very much connected to the human DNA. That's something they told me. They're very much have placed in their DNA into the human race. That's why they are. And again, the Arcturians, they have karma to this planet as well, in the form of teaching. And this is the higher karma in which the humans will eventually get to, once everybody gets out of the past cycle of oblivious wandering around, casually wandering around, just unaware. That's sort of unaware karma that you just kind of accumulating and not clearing. It's like you accumulate, you don't clear, you accumulate, and you still don't clear. So it builds up to be this massive energetic block or energetic weight that people need to lift off themselves in order to really move forward into the new cycle of karma, which is going to be about really soul karma to one another rather than just ego karma to one another. That's all about service, teaching, and that's why they're here for me, because I'm meant to be a teacher. And also, when it comes to teaching, they really help me to not. They help me to stay strong within my my intuition and my beliefs about why I'm here. Because being a teacher, a higher dimensional teacher, and being in this 3D world, sometimes I can try, I don't even know what to say. Like, again, I'm trying to translate this message and it's not processing and molding over in my head because I'm trying to do it too soon, because I really want to say it, speak it, but I know it's not the time to speak it. But basically, the message that I was feeling for myself in being teacher is a lot of times we want to, you know, fit into the society. It's tempting. It's very tempting to want to just you know, go in, you know, when it comes to friends, and sort of forget. It's really about sort of forget why we're here. And for myself, forget, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, well, you know, I'm just gonna go have fun with the friends and, you know, just do that. But sometimes they always keep me, like, in those moments where I feel I'm just sort of trying to just fit in, trying to not, you know, trying to just, like, almost like I'm forgetting why I'm here, when I just kind of go out with my friends and I'm like just doing what they do, or doing what the majority of the people do. They remind me, no, you're here, you're not meant to have that sort of karma. You're not meant. Those people, they're still in the old karmic system, and you're not. So sometimes they really remind me frequently that that's not my lesson. I'm not meant to take part in that sort of karmic old wheel that the majority of people in. You know, like, they're just creating karma with each other and they don't know, they're unaware. And this is more ego karma, like I said, not really soul karma. So, and it's also about karma involving releasing, because we've accumulated so much throughout past lives, that we've accumulated so much that literally it can take lifetimes just to release all that built up energy. It's really about releasing, is the old karmic wheel, while the new karmic wheel is not going to be about releasing, because we've already purified ourselves through that old karmic system that we got out of, and it's merely of soul karma with each other, helping each other to really, you know, especially this new karmic wheel that I'm in, it's really about me helping those individuals clear their karma, them really purge and release that heavy weight they've accumulated, you know, throughout the centuries or lifetimes of being on Earth. That's really my karma to the world, is to help those people get out of that wheel, so they can be in this level where they can assist more people to get out of that karmic wheel, so we can all really vibrationally raise our frequency and have a more pure state. And also, again, with the Arcturians, really what I want to mention is that whenever I meditate and I go to their planet, they're always, the vibration of their planet is so soft. It is like there's absolutely no hyper energy at all, no really excitement. There's no excess of any sort of, like, you know, excited energy. It's so mellow that when I am there, I feel as though just my energy, and I'm in a very meditative state when I'm there, and I still feel like my energy is too excited to be on that planet. While the Pleiadians, they're very much artistic about, you know, music and dancing, and very much sort of remind me of the Native Americans, where they're just like dancing around. They're very high vibrational spiritual, but they're very artistic and about building things like Native Americans, you know, building crafts, sewing, you know, wood building, you know, creating necklaces, music, dance, instruments, all that jazz. That's why they remind me of Native Americans. Well, the Arcturians, they very much, they remind me of sort of like monks, where all they do is just sort of just, they're so mellow. You walk into the premises of like a monk sort of building, or where they reside, and you're just like, whoa, I feel like I don't fit in, because I'm so I'm like in a meditative state right now, but I still feel like I'm just still like have too much exciting energy. Like I feel like I still need to like tone it down. You know, even right now I talk so fast. In the Arcturians, it's like their energy is so slow. It's like, oh, and it's just like the energy is like moves so. They're very high vibrational beings. They can quickly. They have this the vibrational manifestation instantly, but their energy is just so like slow, I guess is the word to say. Well, the Pleiadians are just like musical beings, like Native Americans, always just doing the next endeavor and projects, and they're very much into music too, and like the throat chakra. They very much help individuals with their throat chakra and with their heart center, about, you know, loving energy, like loving energy that's like the way like a parent loves a child energy, like that sort of loving, but it still transcends that. So basically, I guess one more thing I would like to mention about the Arcturians is that when they communicate to you, usually it's because you're meant to be a teacher. Like I said, you're in the new karmic wheel that is about karma due to, like, they have karma to this world, like I said, and it's about service, about teachers. So if you really just happen to come across the Arcturians, you were meant to be a teacher in this life. And for me, I have a mixture of Arcturian and Pleiadian energy. They're sort of like just combined together. Like they're just like you know, like put two liquids in the same jar sort of thing. Like they're just together. They're collaborating together. And it's because I have a lot of creative energy. It's like the way for myself, the way my teaching is going to be put out to the world is in a creative way. So that's why I need that Pleiadian energy to help me, because my teaching is going to be not of the serious teaching, like symbols. That's a very serious, that like can go over people's heads. That's kind of what the Arcturians are about, like teachings that are very serious. Like they would be like, let's sit down and I'm going to tell you what the meaning of life is. And it's like literally a straightforward way. Can seem a little bit boring, you know, kind of just, you're just like in class and it's like 2-hour class and they're like literally just hammering at you the meanings of life and the universe and the cosmos, and here's some symbols and let's, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be like, whoa, boring. So really with my teaching, the Pleiadians are here to bring some oomph and to bring some playful energy, so I can get my teaching out in a way that doesn't bore people. It's in a more creative way, like drawing. That's the Pleiadians are really about the drawing. They actually helped me collaborate. They collaborated on this image, because when I was drawing this, I was like, there's Arcturian energy in it, but I feel like there's another energy. And when I tapped into it, is really the Pleiadian energy, because they like to bring in their creative touch, their artistic touch. Because, you know, the Pleiadians can see the Arcturians as slightly boring, because they're just so like straightforward, and they're just like the old sort of, you know, like the old professors that just come to class and they just like talk to you, and they're just, afterward they just leave, you know, and they're sort of just boring, because it's like they have like a monotone, you know, sort of that sort of thing. While the Pleiadians are like the young professor with like the orange hair that walks in and like plays the guitar while he's like, you know, teaching a lesson, or he's like let's draw today, or like, you know, very like spontaneous, like that cool hip young teacher, you know. That's the Pleiadians. And again, they're the one that gave me that metaphor right there. Again, that's the metaphors they give me, those sort of metaphors of that I can apply to my life, and I know you guys can apply to your life. But the Arcturians, they don't do that at all. I have to like figure out, okay, what metaphor should I use for this information, and in which people can apply it to their everyday life, so it makes sense, so it doesn't just go over their head. And it can be very hard, because I can sit there and like, this metaphor, I don't know where this is going, I don't think this really makes sense, because again, you're like translating it, and it can be, you're like, with any translation, even with the Spanish translation, there's some things in the Spanish language that doesn't translate smoothly into English, and just like there's things in English that doesn't smoothly translate into Spanish too well, so that's where it gets sticky, gets difficult. So just know, you know, if you're connected to the Arcturians, it's really because you're a teacher, and you're really, and it's important, again, I feel like they're saying this now to me, is to remember that you're meant to be of a teacher, and that you are in a new karmic wheel, and that just because the majority of people around you might be in the category of casually wandering around, just accumulate, you know, they're sort of unaware, and they're not clearing their energy. They're sort of in the old way of karma with each other, this ego karma, that to remember, stay strong within yourself, and realize that you're meant to help those individuals. You're not meant to join those individuals. You're meant to help those individuals out. And for myself, sometimes I want to fit in, and sometimes, well, I'm like, maybe I should join them, you know, and join in their dramas, join in their ego battles that they're doing with each other. Maybe I should just go join them. But again, it's like giving away my personal power, and that is a no, no, no. So the Arcturians really come in that moment when I'm sort of doing that to myself, where I'm really joining the ego drama, the cycle, and the karmic ego clash and accumulating, you know, stuff. They really help me to remember who I am, and that no, I meant to help those people get out. And the only way I can help those people get out is if I keep my energy pure and not go join them in the drama, the ego stuff. So really, that's really key. You know, really key is to remember this, and they will help you to remember. It's just you just have to really allow them. It's like really allow the energy. It's about being fluid. It's like fluidity is the key to really having any sort of contact with any sort of alien race, particularly the alien race that really wants to communicate with you. You have to be very have a fluidity energy, have a peaceful energy. With Arcturians, I have a very mellow energy, very, very sweet energy, very sweet and loving. That's why I resonate with Pleiadians, because they're very sweet, you know, like they just do this to you, like, yeah, you know, they're type of people, while the Arcturians are more just like, they walk in, they wear robes, and they're like the old professor that's just boring, but very knowledgeable, very wise. It's just you have to be able to have the tolerance level to be able to deal with an old professor that can sit there and talk for 2 hours and it's just like monotone and boring. You have to have the patience and the high tolerance level to deal with that sort of boredom. But they have so much wisdom to give, and they connect with me, like I said, because I'm a teacher, and the Pleiadians connect with me as well. They're collaborating together because I need to be able to put something out there, that also because I'm working with children as well, and of course I cannot bore the children because they have such a short attention span. So the Pleiadians really bring in their childlike way of doing things, their fun, outgoing things. So I'm just gonna leave that video now because it's like 30 minutes long. But I hope this video really explained my unique starseed story.